You ever get that feeling that you're your own worst enemy? Like you're the one person standing between you and the life you actually want to live? Well, you're definitely not alone. So today, we're going to dive into Matthew Kelly's Resisting Happiness to figure out exactly why we do this to ourselves and, more importantly, how we can finally stop. This question is really at the absolute heart of the book. It's that nagging feeling, right? That feeling that you're capable of so much more, but something is holding you back. And here's the kicker. What if that something is actually you? Let's unpack what that really means. Okay, so this whole battle against self-sabotage, it starts way earlier than you'd think. Way earlier. In fact, Matthew Kelly argues it starts the very moment you wake up. Let's take a look. So, the alarm clock goes off. And what do? We hit the snooze button. Seems pretty harmless, right? Well, according to Kelly, this is your first surrender of the day. Think about that. Before your feet have even hit the floor, you've already let some other force break your will. You've lost the very first battle, and now you're playing catch-up for the rest of the day. All right, so what exactly is this force we're fighting against? They say to defeat an enemy, you've got to give it a name first. You have to know what you're up against. And Kelly gives this internal dragon a very specific name. He calls it resistance. So what is resistance? Well, this is it in a nutshell. It's that sluggish feeling that, I don't wanna, when you know you should go for a run. It's the voice telling you just one more episode when you know you should be working. It's like this gravitational pull toward what's easy and comfortable, and away from what actually helps you grow. It's that friction you feel when you're stuck between the easy thing and the right thing. And this is exactly what makes resistance so incredibly dangerous. It's a silent enemy. It's sneaky. We're often in the middle of a war we don't even realize we're fighting. And that, my friends, is a war that's almost impossible to win, because resistance is a master of disguise. It pretends to be our own thoughts. So how do you spot this thing in your own life? Well, it wears a lot of different masks. It's that procrastination on a big project. It's the fear that just paralyzes you when you think about taking a risk. It's that powerful pull of instant gratification instead of waiting for long-term fulfillment. Kelly calls these the 1,000 masks of resistance. And the key is, once you start to recognize these masks for what they are, you can finally see the enemy that's been hiding behind them all along. So this whole internal battle, it brings up a really interesting question, doesn't it? If we all say we want to be happy, why on earth do we so often choose the path that leads us away from it? Why do we resist our own happiness? This is a paradox that we all live with every single day. It's kind of wild when you stop to think about it. We know a healthy meal will make us feel better than junk food. We know that finishing that task will bring such a sense of relief. We know what's good for us, but we just don't always do it. So why? That huge gap between knowing and doing, that's the mystery we're trying to solve here. Our search for happiness is really a lifelong journey. When we're kids, we think that new toy or that new bike is the ultimate answer. Then, as we get older, we chase after the perfect friendship or relationship, thinking one person can fulfill us. After that, maybe it's all about chasing pleasure, which we learn is pretty fleeting. And finally, we chase big accomplishments. But as Kelly points out, even when we get all the things we thought we wanted, we can still feel like something's missing. So what's missing? What's that empty feeling? Well, this is where Kelly offers a more spiritual diagnosis. He proposes that we all have what he calls a God-sized hole inside of us. It's this deep ache for meaning that no amount of stuff or money or status can ever truly fill. And from his perspective, the only way to find that lasting, genuine happiness is to connect with something much, much bigger than ourselves. Okay, so if that's the diagnosis, what's the prescription, right? What's the game plan? How do we actually start to actively fight back against resistance and begin choosing happiness, not just once in a while, but every single day? And make no mistake, the stakes in this daily battle are super high, and the results are things you can actually feel. Think about it. On a day when resistance wins, you end up feeling irritable, restless, just off. But on a day when you win, you feel focused, you feel invigorated, you're more patient and generous. The choice we make each day really does have this massive impact on our quality of life. So, what's the secret to winning this war? Well, it isn't found in some grand, sweeping gesture. It's not about one big, heroic act. It's one in the small, daily victories. It's all about intentionally building better habits, one day at a time. And if we do that, we can literally change the entire trajectory of our lives. Okay, so how do we actually make this change? Where do we begin? Well, Kelly argues that it all comes down to one really pivotal moment and one single life-changing question. For him, the journey started with a really simple challenge. Just spend 10 minutes a day in quiet prayer or reflection. That's it. But for Kelly, this tiny little habit started to grow into something so much bigger. And eventually, it led him to this moment of profound surrender and to a question that would change absolutely everything. And here it is, the big question. God, what do you think I should do? Now, I know it seems so simple, but it represents a truly radical shift in perspective. It's that moment we stop saying, this is what I want, and we start asking, what is wanted of me? In that one act of surrender, Kelly argues, we finally stop resisting our own good, and we can begin to find our true purpose. And in the end, this all brings us to one last really powerful reminder. This whole struggle against resistance, this huge internal battle we've been talking about, it's not just you, it's universal. Every single person is fighting the same kind of hard battle. And when we really recognize that, we can find not only the strength to win our own fight, but also the compassion to help others win theirs too.